We get the question all the time of what vehicle do you drive? So we're going to spend the afternoon showing you what all of our employees drive here.
Yeah, so my name is John Van Wagner and I do AluCab sales and customer support here at OK.
So John, can you show us around your truck and let us know what you got going on here?
Yeah, so it's a 2012 Tacoma regular cab, a 6-foot bed obviously. And then there's a 6-foot canopy camper on the back, has AAV Salta wheels that are currently covered in a little bit of mud from West Virginia. Just a basic ARB nitro charger, 2.5-inch lift kit. The medium leafs in the back, which is obviously why it's sagging so bad right now.
Not where we parked it whatsoever, but
not at all. Then ARB front bar with a come-up winch, some sliders. Those are 4XI out of Colorado. Part of the appeal of this truck, I had never seen a canopy camper on a regular cab Tacoma. My first Tacoma was a regular cab, so I always had a bit of a longing to go back to the good old little regular cab, and made it happen with this truck. We were able to put on the camper with no issues. So it is a 4-cylinder, it is an automatic. So as long as you get it nice and wound up on the highway, it has no problems. It's awesome on the trail. So since it's so short and such a small wheelbase, it has no trouble making tight turns. A little bit more power would be nice, but in 4-low, it just chugs along, and the winch is up there if you get into anything too crazy. So this is an old school tread plate canopy camper. It does have the GP Factor pizza delivery hatch, so a little bit of natural light down below. I kept it really simple with this one. My last camper build, I went like all out with Baltic birch interior, fireplace, and all sorts of other goodies. This one, I tried to keep it a little more low key. The back, it's basically empty. So part of that is because it's a 4-cylinder and doesn't have a whole lot more oomph. And then the other part is just because I still want to use it as a truck. Keys, it uses a key to unlock it.
No key fob, no Bluetooth.
Yeah, so it is the regular cab. You got room for 2. I have a little GMRS radio, a CB radio for talking to the truckers. And then my favorite accessory in there is that off-roam phone holder. So it does a really good job, holds all sorts of different phones and keeps it tight and locked in there.
So if you had to pick, what is your favorite modification so far to the vehicle?
Ooh. Aesthetically, I think it would be the ARB front bumper. Functionally, probably gonna say the canopy camper. I mean, I had a 3R on a Littner rack on this truck for about a year, but when you have the capacity to stand up inside and change and like hang out when it's cold and rainy, the camper makes all the difference.
Yeah. So. Well, you built one eclectic little Tacoma that does just about everything. So we appreciate you taking the time to show us around.
Yeah,
and we're gonna head on to the next employee's build. Chuck, can you tell us what you do at OK4 Drive and how long you've been here?
I have been at OK4 Drive for 25 years.
Thanks.
Since 2000. And I work in sales.
Nice.
The entire time. So what we have here is my 2014 BMW 1200 GS. In the front with the lighting, these are just clear water lights. They're pretty common with BMWs. The neat thing about them is they tie right into the electrical system, so there is no switch. When you turn the bike on, they come on, and they work in low beam or high beam, and you can actually program them via this Wonder Wheel, so you can change the brightness. So like if they have 10 settings, and when it's on high beams, I have it set at level 10. So one of these switches you hold, and then you crank the Wonder Wheel one way, and then they'll blink, and then you can set the brightness. It's in the manual. I forget how to do it off the top of my head. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Moving on, I guess, to the crash protection. What I have is the upper crash bars, the lower crash bars, and then a skid plate. Those are all made by a company called Ulmer, and it is basically one unit. They all kind of work together because it's one company, so it's kind of like one-stop shopping. And they are independent of the motor, So they kind of use the frame to connect, which is unique for alt riders. So if it does go down, you don't risk any kind of like frame damage. And the skid plate is a full length one, so it goes from the motor all the way back underneath the shock and the catalytic converter and stuff, just to kind of give you a little bit more protection. The suspension on this, actually, it's a GS. So there's two versions. There's a GS, which this is, and there's a GS Adventure, which has the bigger tank. It comes crash bars from the factory, all more bells and whistles. That's usually what you see people on because they are kind of cooler looking. This one is just more of the street version. But what I did was I put a suspension from a 1250, a 2020 1250 GS Adventure on this. So the factory suspension's like 7.5 inches of travel. The GSA suspension is 8.5. So I gained 1 more inch of travel to kind of make it more off-road friendly. So it has the narrow tank, which is cool. It makes it more like dirt bike narrow, not as big as the Adventure, because I don't need 8 gallons of fuel where I'm going. And I just wanted more travel. Plus, the bike it came off had like 6,000 miles. That's the factory touring cases. I mean, they open from the side. They're not like the cool Adventure cases where they open from the top and they're more aluminum looking. So like I said, the GS is more of the street platform. But I have the Bark Busters on here. I have the Machine Art Moto cylinder head covers, which are pretty cool. Plus, the neat thing about them is they're made and located in Frenchtown, New Jersey.
Oh, cool.
Which is like, whatever, 20 minutes from here, something like that.
That's sweet.
And actually, I just ordered up last night a pair of their hand guards, so I'm going to be replacing the Bark Buster stuff with their stuff, which will probably be here tomorrow or Thursday. What's the nicest?
the heated grips.
Oh, they're factory.
I know.
So that's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? I got bar backs and bar risers on it from Wunderleash just to kind of give it a more comfortable riding position. I got a Touratech seat, which is the high version of it, which is very similar, which is about the same height as the GSA seat in the high position.
Gotcha.
And then I have SW Motec foot pegs that are adjustable from regular height to lower, and I have them in the low position just to let my legs stretch out a little bit more and kind of make it more ergonomically fitting for me with the rider triangle and stuff. Yeah, I mean, the Land Cruiser's awesome, but I've had it for forever.
Yeah, and this
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a 2000, and I had it since the beginning of time, and I really couldn't care less about it anymore.
Also for sale.
Yeah, and it might be for sale, so there we go. And I enjoy it. You know what I mean? And like you said before, I try to ride it all year round, unless there's snow on the road or like ice or something crazier. It's like mad cold. I'll leave it in the garage, but yeah, I try to ride it as much as I can.
So that's gonna be it for Chuck's bike. We're gonna pull this out of here, and then we're gonna grab his Land Cruiser and show you around that.
Awesome.
All right, we are back with Chuck, this time with a 4-wheel drive vehicle. So Chuck, let us know what you got here.
Right here is my tried and true 2000 Toyota Land Cruiser 100 series.
How long you had it?
2010, I think I paid 10 grand for it.
Dang.
In 2010. It was awesome.
Coming to a Bring a Trailer auction near you soon.
This truck is 20 some years old, 15 years of me owning it. So a lot of this stuff has been on there for that duration. So it's a little haggard and beat up, but it is what it is. Here's my TJM bumper. I'll say that's been on there for a long time. It does have a winch in there that I believe is an old super winch, but the motor burned out, so I took the cable off, hence there's no fair lead or anything anymore.
Gotcha.
The lights up front are Baja Designs LP9s, and they are the originals where they machined the housings out of billet rather than the new like cast one. If we come around to the side, if you are a 100 series owner, you may have noticed this. If not, my truck does have hubs on it. 100 series were always all-wheel drive. I did a hub conversion on this, which essentially makes it part-time four-wheel drive. So right now, it's rear-wheel drive. You hit the center diff lock button. It'll lock the transfer case in. Then you come out and turn the hubs, just like an old school 70s, 80s type pickup truck or new Super Duty even. It has a Old Man Emu suspension in it. It does have TJM torsion bars up front. They were the original kit. I've since then replaced everything else. Coil springs in the back and shocks and such all the way around with Old Man Emu. Hold on. They are Black Rhino. They are Black Rhino wheels. I forgot. They are discontinued, but they are a 16 and a 5-on-150 bolt pattern, which was awesome, which was kind of hard to find something that was like kind of cool and modern looking. So, like I said, hopefully nothing happens to them because that's the only 5 left. Snorkel, the obligatory snorkel, you have to have that.
Yep.
Under the hood, there is a dual battery setup along with my solar controller because I have a solar panel up on the roof. We could probably talk about that later. I got the Slee off-road rocker guards, which, as you can see, have taken somewhat of a beating, but man, those things hold up. The powder coating is amazing, so props to Slee. My shadow awning, that is one of the originals.
So this is what, 2008?
Whenever we imported them, this was like the first batch, hence the old haggard faded bag that's held together with like some Gorilla Tape, but the awning itself is top notch, absolutely no flaws.
Nice.
We got the Slee off-road rear bumper. This one is a little unique because it is a single swing out. They only did a limited production of them. Price was good. I didn't really need the ladder, even though I wish I had it now with the rooftop tent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That is kind of neat. Spare tire, like I said, that's matching rim. This is an old Thule bike rack that I converted to hold my beach chairs when I go to the beach and the pool. It is, yes, it's on in the summertime.
Nice.
I guess if you want to see in the back, we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
So back here, I have my Goose Gear side-by-side drawer system with a bunch of goodies in here, Alucab fridge slide, and my Engel fridge.
If there's one thing we know about Chuck here at the shop is that he loves his stickers. So I can only imagine what your sticker collection at home looks like, Chuck, because all of his toys, like you saw on his motorcycle and the Land Cruiser, have plenty of stickers.
We have a Front Runner Slimline 2, which is a little bit longer. My boy Steve at Front Runner added like an extra slat to it, which I don't even know if they do anymore because it doesn't hold the weight, but I don't have anything up here.
Gotcha.
I just have a solar panel. I have a sun flare. I think it's like a 105 watter is the solar panel up there. I do have a rooftop tent. It is old school like the truck. It's the original ARB Simpson tent, the Simpson 1.
Okay.
Yes, which is probably 15 plus years old, still going strong. I had to replace the cover a few times because it kind of the UV dries it out.
Yep.
That's up top sometimes. I do have Front Runner quick release.
Yep, nice.
Clamps, so you can take it on and off relatively easy.
What got you into the Land Cruiser?
I've had a few before this. I've had an FJ40 I got from my brother, who got it from his buddy in California when he was in the Navy. So that thing was mint. Aside from like haggard paint from the sun, the truck was gorgeous. And I drove that for a lot of years. Then unfortunately, hindsight, I cut it up and I made a rock buggy out of it. Caged 42-inch tires. It was, yeah, it's a shame because the truck was beautiful. Then I had a couple FJ60s after that. The last one I had was an FJ62 that, again, lifted lockers front and rear, LT1 V8 swap, 700 R4 trans. That was a neat truck. Unfortunately, got a little bit of rust on it. And then I had this at the same time, and then I just held on to this and have had this ever since. They've been good. I like them.
Heck
they last forever. 238,000 miles, so still going strong.
Nice. So we're gonna go inside, grab the next employee, and take you around their vehicle. So I'm here with Steph. Steph, what do you do here at OK4WD Drive?
I work in the web department and I also do purchasing.
Awesome. So yeah, if you have an inquiry on parts, you may have talked to Steph in the past. Steph, can you tell us a little bit about your truck?
I have a 2024 Jeep Willys edition, and so far the only upgrade that I've done are my tires and my method wheels.
So wheels and tires so far. So what do you got planned for this thing?
Right now I have AEV front and rear bumpers, so that's going to be my next big upgrade.
Nice. Yeah, we're going to talk to some guys in the shop and find some time in there and get these things installed. And the next time you see this, bumpers, winches, who knows what's happening. But we appreciate you taking it out and showing it to us, Steph.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so I'm here with Jack. Jack is one of our mechanics here. Jack, can you show us around your truck? But before you do, can you tell us what you got?
So I have a 2020 Chevrolet Colorado ZR2 AEV Bison Speed Dog!
Let's get started.
The truck factory has front and rear lockers. It's got the metal bumpers front and rear. On the front we have a bunch of added lights. We got some Baja Pros, fog lights, center light bar. On the canopy there's two forward facing lights as well. We got a GMR setup on it for radios, factory snorkel, a lot of factory goodies down there, and a big old nice come-up winch. Factory suspension on it, upgraded Deaver springs in the rear to handle all the extra weight back there, rock sliders on the side, electric rear view mirror. A Norwell canopy, there's storage both sides. We have a dual S-Pod control, another S-Pod controller there. Control it from inside the cab while driving or the back while you're parked. Wing lights, both sides. There's cook lights in the back. There's a ARB twin air compressor in the back there. We also have a, I believe it's 15-gallon water tank on it with a water pump. We got a fridge slide out, dual zone Dometic on there. Keeps your beverages nice and chilly. Full red arc controller back there. There's outlets all over the place. Got a 100 amp hour lithium ion battery in the back there to support everything. I've camped down for a week straight and, you know, battery life still over 50% just sitting there, so, and that's with it being used pretty heavily. Here, and we have lots and lots of drawers. You can never have enough storage room. I'll load them up with tools and recovery gear and stuff like that for when going out, but just driving around town, no need to have it fully loaded up. Full-size spare, propane bottle mount, trash roof, because you're gonna make trash. A drawer. We got a 2-burner cooktop with all the bacon grease from the last time I cooked here. So we got the water spigot down there, the water pump feeds out. Got some crazy, ridiculous reverse lights back there. Don't stand behind me if I'm backing up. On this side of the truck, we got our ladder mount, so you can climb up from the side or the back. We got a table in there with a sweet little mount up there, keeps it nice and hidden. We also got front runner chairs, 4 of them with the little collapsible mount. I feel like you're a movie director sitting in those things. And an espresso machine, because there's no better time to drink coffee than when you're camping. The AluCab 3R rooftop tent. Red Arc 200 watt solar panel with mounted on AluCab's load bars.
You have a very cool truck.
Thank you.
So we're gonna grab another employee and check out their vehicle. Currently, I'm driving a 2014 Subaru Forester. Nothing fancy, but great on gas, but we did a couple things to it to make it cool because you can't work here without touching or modifying your vehicles. So for the lift, we'll call it, I have the ReadyLift Spacer Lift. It gives me about an 1.5-inch lift. So instead of just adding a spacer lift to the already somewhat tired suspension, I just figured I'd add new suspension, which really helped out with the lift and made my car ride a whole lot better. For wheels and tires, you can see that we have Nomad Sahara in gray, wrapped in Toyo Open Countries. They're a 225, 75, 15. So I actually went from a 17-inch wheel down to a 15-inch wheel because I really like the look of the sidewall of the all-terrains, and it also opened up more options for off-road tires for the Subaru. Up top, you can see I have AluCab's LT50 rooftop tent. I have that held into place with AluCab load bars to front runner feet. It's a bit of a combination of parts to make it work, but I really like the way that this combo works. I've tried other load bars, and this is just the lowest profile and the most simple design, and I really like that the AluCab load bars and the AluCab tent work the way that they're supposed to together, rather than picking 3 different brands to make them work. Inside, there's really nothing special. I just have a scan gauge over here so I can keep an eye on my vehicle's health and check engine lights, stuff like that. Underneath that, I have the Midland GMRS radio, so when we're driving in a group, I can talk to the friends. Shout out to my dog Summit. We got a cool little air freshener from a friend of mine. And then I just have the Blue Ridge Overland attic, and that's really it for the interior. So again, having an older Subaru, it's a little hard to find products to build out your vehicle. So I ended up making my own custom base plate. This is a piece of birch that I cut to shape and then bed lined it. I added a nice like L-track system so I could strap down all of my equipment. So you could see I have an ARB 47 quart fridge. I made my own removable battery system. I wanted to be able to have my trunk space. I wanted it to be able to come out super easy, so you could see there's just 2 Anderson plugs. The lower Anderson is the cable that runs to my car battery, and then this is the cord that goes to the fridge. In here, I have a 50 amp hour deep cycle battery with a Red Arc BCDC. This will know when the car is on and it can charge the battery, or if the car is off and it'll run, the Red Arc will know to use the battery to charge the fridge. So I have this set to run to the deepest battery cycle. So it'll basically almost kill this battery, but that only happens if I don't move the car for 4 days. But again, it's just really nice that I can just unplug 2 cables, stuff them away, and I have the entire trunk back, and I just have my normal car back. So that is my super simple Subaru off-road build. It's nice because it gets 26 miles to the gallon still, and I have a nice place to sleep. So that's it for my vehicle. Let's move on to the next one. We are here with Ken. Ken, what do you do here at OK4WD Drive?
I work in sales and service.
How long have you been here?
10 years.
And what got you into off-roading originally?
Playing on farms and private property, and bought a Jeep TJ. Started going wheeling with OK4WD Drive up at Tar Hollow. This is my wife's Ford Bronco. She let me put some nice parts on here. We have AEV wheels, BFG KO2 tires.
And a bunch going on up front, so let's go check it out.
Yeah, we can start with the ARB Summit front bumper. I don't have a winch in it because I don't plan on off-roading the Bronco anytime in the very near future. Followed up with some Nacho lights in the fog light position. They are SAE street legal. We have Nacho ditch lights up at the A-pillars. They have different presets also, so you can run a backlight, 3 top lights, 3 bottom lights, or all of it.
Can you use those as running lights, or are those not legal?
Those are a little bit too bright to be using on the street.
Gotcha.
The back of the truck has the ARB Zenith rear bumper. I chose to go with the narrow flare option, even though it's a Sasquatch. I like the narrow flare bumper because it matches the ARB Summit front bumper the best.
And it fits well with the fender flares too.
We have a goose gear tailgate table. Beautiful piece. Goose gear, 100% sleep delete, but I only have the one side installed right now.
Do you plan on taking the other side out or leaving one?
That seat stays up for the dog.
Yep.
I did Baja Squadrons, and I was able to bolt them into either side of the trailer hitch, and they're set at kind of the perfect angle to go out into the sides. It's pretty cool. So for side steps, I went with Green Lane Off-Road. They're a company out of Canada. They were one of the only manufacturers to offer an all aluminum side step, which is important to me being up here in the Salt Belt.
Yeah, they look good. Looks like there's plenty of room for your foot, and they actually save your rockers if you did decide to take it wheeling.
Absolutely.
So what else you got planned for this Bronco?
Probably going to do a little suspension lift, probably an ARB suspension all the way around, pick it up a little bit because the weight of the bumpers sagged it out a little bit. And then I think some power brakes, definitely need some power brakes.
Nice. Ken, thank you for showing us around the Bronco. We're going to grab another employee and see what they drive. We have Julia here with her Tacoma. Julia, can you tell me what you do here at OK4WD Drive?
Yeah, mostly I do web sales and customer service here.
So she's being modest. She wears a lot of hats. Tell me a little bit about your truck.
This is my 2021 Tacoma. It's got an ARB BP51 suspension, KO2 tires, some Method race wheels. So we just installed a new Gobi X front bumper.
Yeah, this literally came off of a boat from South Africa, shipped here. This is the first one here in the country.
Yeah, prototype still. All right, so we just installed some new Gobi X sliders as well, an AluCab 3R rooftop tent, and then Red Arc 200 watt solar panels.
Yep.
And then I also have a GP Factor Max Trax load bar mount on top, and that's kind of where I store my Max Trax.
Sweet.
All right, we just put on the new Gobi X rear bumper as well, and then I opted to add the swing out tire carrier. So I have my ARB fridge mounted on an AluCab fridge slide because I'm super short, and now I can access everything inside of it without staying on my tippy toes. And then if you put that up, I have a makeshift drawer system and a base plate that we created to store all my gear in.
And then you can see over here on the right side, they decided to leave that side open so they still have some of their truck bed left. Got to have a little bit of extra space.
Yeah, so this is the Red Arc Red Vision system with a BCDC and a 50 amp hour battery, all connected to my solar, and I can control this all through the app on my phone. So it controls my fridge, my canopy lights, and then when I'm up in my tent, I can turn on and off my tent lights as well just from my phone.
All right, thank you, Julia, for showing us around your Tacoma. That's going to do it for our employee vehicle highlight video. All of us here at OK are super passionate about trucks and off-roading and just vehicles in general. That's why you see such an eclectic collection in our parking lot. So if you like this video, hit that like button. If you could, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.